This particular sweep system is one that is not real conducive to good cattle flow, even though it's somewhat of a 270-degree sweep. It's a pretty sharp turn back here on these cattle. We'll see if they'll come around this corner with the sweep gate. It should work pretty good, but it's got a collapsing gate on the inside of it. The trick with most of these sweep tubs is to not overload them too much. If you bring too many cattle, very often it won't work very well. The other thing with this particular system, the way they've got it set up, they have a no-back right at the entrance. As you can see, these cattle are stopping as they get to that no-back. And so they'll lose all their flow. If they'd have had that no-back up higher, that first animal would have probably gone on through there and continued the flow. Now they'll have to stop, put more pressure on these cattle, and restart their flow. Very simple fix to that is to raise that no back until you get your first set of cattle moving. And then you'll have a much better chance of getting flow through the system. Right now, this group is only staging cattle, so they'll have them ready to go for the next group as well. So we'll have someone come to the back here and restart these cattle. One thing we try not to do is put cattle in a sweep system or a bud box, either one, before we're ready for them to go into the sweep. That should be a flow-through part of the system, but quite often these are used as a means of holding cattle. And anytime you do that, you'll get exactly what we've got right here. The cattle have all turned to go the other direction. This is very typical what you'll see when cattle are put in a tub too quick. They'll all go to the backside and turn the wrong direction. With the no back down on this processing gate, they're going to have a very difficult time getting these cattle started. And this is what happens when you lose your movement and cattle going forward. They can get one started, it'll help, but there's none to go with them to have follow through. So it takes a lot more pressure to get these cattle started. And once again, the no back, there you lose your draw, but you get enough pressure on them, they're going to go. But this is a very typical situation where you have all your pressure on the back of the cattle for the most part, and you just can't establish flow easily when you let them all turn around and lose your forward motion coming toward the tub. These chutes are actually designed to be worked from the outside, which fortunately is not where you need to be. These young men working on the inside of that chute where the cattle coming around them actually helps make this work better. This is one thing we try not to do, is put a lot of pressure on the back ones, when in reality the front ones are the ones that are holding up progress. And they're going to load this sweep tub again before they really have a place for these cattle to go. So you really only want to bring the cattle in that can go up into your lead up. Where you've got cattle that won't go around, they see that no back, and they don't really want to go anywhere. Once you get cattle in here, if they don't have a place to go, they all turn the wrong direction. It takes a lot of pressure to get them started. Once you do get some flow and some direction movement going, you can move these cattle through fairly quickly. And also notice, once you get all your cattle facing the same direction in the sweep like we do right now, you normally get better flow coming out. But we'll also notice up here, these fellas have their flags up. When those cattle come around, if those flags are up in the air, they won't go on forward. As the guy put his flag down, the cattle come around that corner, didn't see an obstruction, and so they went on into the system. Young men are actually doing a pretty good job given the system and what they're facing here to get these cattle to move forward. I'll try this up here one more time. If I'm in the way, I'll have to get down again. See, if one of them were to stay up here on the pivot, they could probably get these, but once again, the young man is up here waving his flag in front of the cattle, and it may be very possible to turn them all back. It doesn't take much for them to see what's happening and to create that flow back. And notice here, there's nobody on the back side putting pressure on them, just the one in the front. There's several issues here with this system. When they come around, the light changes, the no back. By the time bird gets pressure, he's got too many cattle in here and he's having to back up. Once again, they're still making this work fairly well for the way it's designed. And once flow starts, just like that, it really goes. So that's why you don't want to do anything to stop the flow of the cattle coming in to these systems. This is where timing and setup is really important to one of these. If the young man is back here in the back with his flag up when the first cattle come around, they probably will not go into that system very well. Right now you can see his flag is waving. These cattle come around that corner and stop. They can get still, they'll probably flow. Notice the young man got up on the side here. He actually drew the cattle's attention away from the gate. We had pretty good flow going. They would be a little better off. The biggest problem in this whole system is the no back down right there at this opening. This is another good example. You either need to bring that sweep. This is a situation that'd be better off bringing the sweep gate on around to bring him in, but it works. It may sound like I've been a little critical on this way they're handling these cattle, but given this system, these young men are getting these cattle through here very quickly. And we'll notice if the activity, this is one thing about this, if they hear or see people around that corner, they're very tendency to balk. Once they get flow started, this young man up here at the front, getting them focused, getting them going. The guy in the back's not making much racket. They probably put too much pressure on them right then and drew their attention away from the opening. All in all, a really good movement of these cattle through the system. We have an issue that you notice as you transition from the crowd alley into the processing barn, and they're still working behind this calf. It'd probably be better to go from the front, put pressure on him, but that transition into a dark barn sometime will really cause cattle to balk. That's a very appropriate use of a hot shot with an animal that won't balk. You have to get them through the system. You get one back here like this, he doesn't particularly want to go. they'd probably be better off bringing the sweep gate on around. And actually, that's the advantage of a sweep system, is that you can make these cattle move on around and go where they need to go. Sometimes in a bud box, if you have one like that, you actually have more difficulty getting them out. Good work.